Hi everyone and welcome to another chat with video, and today we're going to be talking to Wheeze. He's one of the leads of Archon Entertainment, who are the modders behind Luftahraan. This is a giant DLC type mod for Skyrim, which adds a brand new city, a host of quests, and even has its own unique soundtrack. In this video we will be discussing many aspects of Luftahraan, as well as other mods that Archon Entertainment have created. The focus will be on Wheeze himself, but the other team will be included and mentioned throughout the video. If you'd like to know more about Luftahraan, obviously head to the links down in the description below, where you'll find a multitude of media to read up on Luftahraan and also discover their unique soundtrack.
Okay, you want me to introduce myself? Yeah, okay. I'm my real name is Örvar Arnarsson. My internet alias is Wheeze. I am a 21-year-old baker from Iceland, and my main hobby is modding, or rather just anything that has something to do with making video games. It's so currently that's mod making. And yeah, I'm currently leading a project, or leading my team that is currently working on a massive sort of expansion slash DLC sized mod project called Luftahraan, and we've been doing this for more than 3 years now. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much a brief summary of who I am on the internet.
Cool. So that's 3 years of your modding life has been revolved around Luftahraan.
Yes.
Or did you start? How much before Luftahraan did you start modding? Did you start as soon as like the creation kit came out, or before the creation kit?
Oh yeah.
Or even before Skyrim?
Yeah. So like so I was streaming at the time when Skyrim came out. I was testing it, live streaming on Twitch. Oh yeah, I forgot to put that part into my little summary. I live stream everything that I do. So I was live streaming at the time when Skyrim came out. I live streamed Skyrim when it came out, and then Creation Kit came out. And I had a big passion for like making video games and whatever that entails. But there was never any kind of tool or project that really sparked an interest, like a proper passionate interest for me. So I decided to like put the two together. Creation Kit came out. I was live streaming. I put the two together. I live streamed Creation Kit. I was absolutely sure I would get 0 viewers, right? But it was the most successful live stream I've ever done in terms of like viewership numbers, but also in terms of community and chat. So that's the important part. Like, people were talking, people were asking what I was doing. It was super exciting. I still remember the numbers. I hit 18 viewers the first day I streamed Creation Kit, and then like within that week I gained up to 90 viewers, which is like way more than I was getting like before, which was like 4 or 5 viewers at most. But numbers don't matter.
That's good.
But that kind of directly correlates with like the chat activity and like the growth of the community on my stream. So I kept that going, and basically the stream was able to keep me going, keep me motivated. So I guess I'm kind of giving like a big backstory behind this, but whatever. And that's to answer that question, I started when Creation Kit came out, and I made a couple of mods. I made some really shitty dungeons back in the day, like 5 of them, I guess, or 6, and and then I moved on to Luftahraan.
So what would you say your field of expertise is at the moment in the Creation Kit? Are you more skilled at making dungeon type areas because you started there, or are you more skilled at making outdoor areas, houses, or weapons, armor?
It's definitely dungeons. I try and be a jack of all trades, and kind of like I want to be because I'm a project lead of a massive project. I want to be able to jump on any task that needs doing. So if it'll be quests or whatever, or scripting or whatever, I want to be able to jump on that. So I know how to do quests. I know how to do some basic scripting and coding and stuff, making like puzzles and boss fights and stuff. But definitely my main expertise is dungeon, making dungeons
and level design, obviously.
Yeah, level design.
Yeah. I played through a bit of. I tried to get as much research in as possible as I could, and I played through. Oh, you're gonna have to correct the pronunciation.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's Nobody is able to pronounce anything that we make. It's kind of funny.
Where are we going? I'm going to attempt it. You've even put a nice little helpful pronunciation like tip at the top as well. So Heimfinger.
Yeah. Well, it's not finger. It's funny. Some people are pronouncing it ham finger. It's kind of funny. But no, it's Heimfager.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Right. Okay. So I played a bit through. Got lost. But I don't know how far through it was through the dungeon, but I got lost. It's one of the stages where there's a lot of Draugr hiding in the corners, etc. And yeah, I got a little bit lost.
Okay.
And I didn't quite finish it before we started this conversation, but yeah, it was good.
Were you able to?
I really did.
Were you able to reach for a certain puzzle area?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think there was any particular puzzle at the point I got to.
Okay.
I got past the first. There's one where you take, I think it was a shield.
Okay.
Shield off the pedestal, and then that's when all the Draugr are sitting around, and that you know something's going to happen when you see all the Draugr just sitting there waiting.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Take the shield off, got rid of the sword, etc. Got rid of them, and then I got a bit further past there, a bit down a few levels, I think it was down, and then that's when I started getting lost. When there was like a maze of corridors intertwined with each other.
I tried to make it rather direct, but yeah, I can see why you might actually get well, you might have gotten lost. I've improved a lot in terms of gameplay flow and stuff since I've made Heimfager. But yeah, the main highlight of that dungeon is the puzzle and the boss at the end.
Okay.
Spoilers, but whatever. So yeah, but yeah. So yeah, those are the main highlights.
Yeah, I'm definitely intent on continuing my journey through that dungeon. It was quite a nice experience. I especially liked pretty much near the start of the dungeon where you have to navigate downwards, jumping from platform to platform.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. That's nice.
Yeah. I like the idea because like it's a gameplay element in your dungeon that you can implement easily into Skyrim, but Bethesda doesn't do it because of followers. So that's the reason why you don't get a follower. Like when you enter the dungeon, your follower won't follow you through. It's because of that segment. I wanted to add areas where the player had to like jump and fall down and like traverse the environment, traverse the level in a way that the player might not be used to in other Skyrim dungeons, and I think that would create like a pretty interesting flow for the dungeon, going directly downwards.
Yeah, it's something that I hadn't seen obviously in Skyrim before, apart from I think there's a couple of dungeons where you drop down, but in those instances there's always a little escape route for your follower to get around, so you can go and open a door later on and they'll just follow you for the rest of the quest. I like the idea of sometimes at least being fully alone, especially in a dungeon as well. It's a lot more immersive if you're fully alone in the dark.
I get that.
So is this the sort of thing we can expect from Luftahraan as well in terms of dungeons? More of this sort of content?
So there's two main dungeons, I guess, that I would recommend. So there's Heimfager and then there's Temple of Kruzik. And if you just search Luftahraan on Nexus, you'll be able to find like Heimfager, and therefore, I think you'll be able to find Heimfager. But yeah, then you'll be able to find our other mods.
If you search for Archon Entertainment as a author,
that works too.
Then they all come up.
Shouldn't be too hard to find. If you search for that, you'll be able to download those dungeons, and they are pretty accurate representations of what you can expect for Luftahraan. Unfortunately, we've only done like Nordic dungeons as actual dungeon releases, even though there's a great variety. There's even like types of dungeons that you've never seen before in Skyrim, there's like new tile sets. Well, then not exactly new tile sets, but they're really cleverly improvised to create some really cool looking dungeons.
I saw on your Twitch stream the ice/snow dungeon where you created the walls with the mountains, etc. I thought that was quite nice. I like your Twitch channel because you explain how and why you've done it as well. It's not just you showing people, look, I'm doing this and this is what I've created. It's like how you've done it and why you've done it as well. It's a nice explanation of where you've come from and why you do it.
I mean that's what I try and do with my channel. That's one of the main reasons why you would want to even go there, is because, and I mean, if the person who's making the actual mod is just sitting there in silence and not actually telling you his thought process behind it, I guess it's kind of like I don't know, it kind of misses the mark. It kind of misses the point of having a development stream, because you want to involve the people who are watching with whatever you're doing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer your
And do you get quite a few?
but to
Sorry,
answer your
yeah,
question
continue,
properly,
continue.
like yes, Heimfigure and Temple of Kruzik are pretty accurate representations of what Luftahraan dungeons are going to be. But there are dungeons there that are probably going to be a lot more grand, some crazy concepts and crazy ideas that we have planned for and implemented into Luftahraan dungeons. So I mean, those dungeons are rather toned down compared to some of our Dwemer dungeons, for example. But yeah, so uh, yeah, that's pretty much what to expect in terms of quality.
Cool. And the quality is pretty high. So
Thank you, I appreciate that.
that's good to know. Yeah, it's the one of the main aspects that I really enjoyed as well was the lighting.
Yeah,
There's quite a few modded dungeons out there that don't really take that into
yeah.
account.
Uh,
And it's a nice atmosphere that's been created, especially obviously I've only gone through a portion of Heimfigure. Did I
yeah,
say that right?
yeah, sure, yeah.
Great. Yeah, cool. We'll accept my poor pronunciations as well.
It's
so that's
it's
fine.
better than most. It's fine.
Yeah. So the lighting that you've created is a very nice atmosphere in there. It's mysterious, but at the same time familiar as well.
Yeah, thanks. I
And think
appreciate that.
Makes
Yeah,
it it helps people get straight in and explore the place themselves.
yeah.
So
I want to just like tell if anybody's making is if anybody's doing level design with Creation Kit and you feel like your lighting is bad, I just want to just throw one tip out there, and that is color contrast. If you're making a level and you're making an environment and your environment looks kind of bland, that probably means that you have one particular light source that you use over and over and over again. So you maybe use like multiple candles and it's always the same yellow color or something. So try and use like maybe candles and fire or some skylights, some window lights or something to create like so that it gives you an excuse to use yellow, red, or maybe like white or blue colors when you're lighting. It's sorry, but you just complimented the lighting, and like it's a problem that I see with multiple with a lot of content mods out there, is that people always use the same color over and over and over again. So yeah, just color contrast. Keep that in mind.
So when you were starting out with the Creation Kit, and you've mentioned the fact you've got your Twitch channel obviously, and your main one of your focuses on there is to obviously explain why you're creating the mods, what exactly you're doing right now and why. Did you also use that as a learning tool for yourself, going to other streamers or YouTube channels and learning the tools of the Creation Kit from there?
So, okay, sorry. Your question is if there are other live streamers that I learned from,
basically, yeah.
And the subject that I'm learning about here is then the Creation Kit and not live streaming. You're asking.
No,
I'm pretty confident that I'm the first ever Creation Kit streamer. Like, okay. I'm pretty confident. Like, I streamed it when the Creation Kit was a couple of hours old.
Wow.
Like, I streamed it day one. So like,
wow.
I mean, I wasn't. There was a lot to learn. I was really bad at that time. So I mean, there weren't other live streamers that have that were doing the same thing that I could learn from. But I've definitely learned from other live streamers when it comes to like putting on a show, putting on an entertaining stream. So,
yeah.
But in terms of Creation Kit, I try and learn from Bethesda themselves and other video games to try and improve my design skills.
With Luftahraan, did I say that right?
It's an impressively proper way to pronounce it, actually.
Okay, cool.
Luftahraan, yeah.
I must admit, Dark Fox taught me how to say it, so I'm kind of cheating a little bit. How did the whole process behind that start?
Right.
Did you make a couple of dungeons and think, oh wait, I want to expand this to a city or a town, or did you already get together with a couple of people first and discuss it before you started?
Yeah, it's actually something that a lot of people don't know, is that I didn't start Luftahraan. I was a part of an internet forum, an internet community called Facepunch for a while before I discovered Reddit. So like, Facepunch was basically my home on the internet, and on Facepunch, this forum, this community, they decided to start a community Skyrim project. So they would just, anybody was allowed to come in and work on this city that they're making. And Luftahraan is a play on words based on one of the games that the person that created Facepunch made, Gary Newman, the guy who made Gary's mod.
Right. Okay.
So like, I personally don't like the name, the way it's the way it looks, the way it sounds, the way you spell it, the origins of it. But hey, we're stuck with it. So yeah, I mean, it was a home for me for a while. I've been a member of that community for like, I think it's over 10 years now. So it just felt right to take part in it, and it just kind of like was a seamless transition of being someone who took part in it to being the project lead, because the guy who was leading the project went away for military purposes and just said Wheeze,
okay.
you go do this, you handle this. And I kind of took it into my own hands and stopped making it a community project and instead made it a sort of team-based effort. So it was a closed off development. There was a set development plan, yeah, so I was in the right place at the right time, or wrong place at the wrong time, depending on the way you look at it. So yeah, that's how it started. I was just given this project because the guy who was maintaining it at the time had to leave.
Okay, so was that the start of Archon Entertainment
Yes.
at that point then, or was that?
Yes, because I knew we would be making more stuff in the future. So I thought, I mean, why not start a brand around what we're making right now to establish some kind of reputation in the future. So even if we move on to other games or even make our own stuff, whatever, like, you know, Archon would be a name that people might recognize, and therefore it would be in our benefit. So I named it something. I named it Archon, and yeah, I established a website, a team, and yeah, that's how it started.
Cool. And so the original team that was from that community on Facepunch, are they with you now on Archon Entertainment? Or some left, some come in?
Right. So like, if I say, right, because like, there's not a lot of people that are part of the project and part of the team today that were a part of the project and part of the team when it was formed at that moment. There are actually like a handful of people that have been a part of this for over 3 years. But that would be, but I would feel bad not mentioning the rest of my team, because we are a really tightly knit group of modders. We're still like accepting new people from time to time, but really tightly knit group of modders, and we've been sticking together and making mods and just generally just hanging out and being friends for years now. So yeah, it's been
that's a fair point.
Yeah, it's been the same team for quite a while. It hasn't really changed.
So you communicate daily, don't you, on things like Discord, etc., and have daily discussions. How often do you test the mod itself?
Depends on what you mean by test.
Or do you test? Do you test certain portions? Like, do you jump into game, have a walk around, try and do some of the quests, etc., go into the buildings?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I like to jump in game and play through the stuff that we've made before, to inspire myself and kind of tell myself, like, this is big, this is important, keep working on it, you know, because you're gonna be so focused at doing one little thing, this one room in this one dungeon, and then you kind of forget what the entire mod is about. So when you're able to take a step back and look at all this work that we've done, it's kind of inspiring and kind of motivating. So I like to jump in game for those purposes, but for beta testing and stuff like that, we don't really do that, because we try and do our individual tasks as best as we can so that they are ready for release. So currently the project is not in a very coherent state where you can start playing it, and the quest would chain together very well. You know, it's kind of spotty in that sense. We've yet to fill in the gaps of which interiors need to be done, which dungeons need to be done, which quests need to be done, and stuff like that.
Okay. What part of the project are you particularly working on at the moment?
Currently, I'm working on finishing basically uh, the, hold on, the, what is it called? I can't remember it. The Sovereign's excavation. It's an excavation. So the Sovereign of Luftahraan, basically the ruler of Luftahraan, the city, uh, heard about a certain artifact in a Dwemer ruin somewhere under the ground. And he really wants this artifact for reasons I'm not going to tell you because of story spoilers. But and he funded an excavation to try and find this Dwemer dungeon. And along the way, these miners will discover more than just a Dwemer dungeon. So the dungeon that I'm working on currently is a mine that will dig themselves into multiple other dungeons before finally entering into this Dwemer dungeon. So that's currently what I'm working on right now. It's ended up being way longer than I expected, but I'm pretty excited about it. There's learned a lot doing this dungeon.
Cool. So I think it's actually probably a good point to actually give a bit of background about Luftahraan, because obviously you mentioned a couple of bits there, but we need to know where that kind of came from. And I'm going to attempt to give what I think it started as. So am I right in thinking that there were two brothers that were the sons of a Jarl of Whiterun?
I have a co-project lead who is the writer. He comes up with a story. I have a pretty good idea of what the story is, but if I try and explain it to you, I will butcher it terribly.
It's fair enough.
So if you go, like, if you don't mind, could we have like a link in your description, just a link to the
it's fine. Yeah, I'll be linking
main thing, and there's a lore section there, and that's where they will explain exactly how Luftahraan was founded and what has happened up until the point where you're actually entering the city and playing it, and also a brief summary about what the story that the player is about to experience is going to be all about. Sorry for the boring answer, but I mean, I will butcher it.
That's fine.
I will misrepresent what the story is and the quality of it and the work that we put into it. So I'd rather have our website do that job for us.
That's fine. That is perfectly fine. I've had a look at the lore, actually. It's quite a nice read, so it's probably best that people go there and have a browse through
I'm super impressed by our writers. Like, they are really careful with the lore. They know their shit when it comes to lore, so it's great.
In terms of building Luftahraan, are there any resources that you've created for other modders to go and use? Or is there any resources that you've taken, well, not taken, but obviously with permission, from other modders that they've created?
So the only modders resources that we're using right now is all the ones that are publicly available on the Nexus. Excuse me. We're using those resources just because we can, and because just we're not using them because we knew that we're going to use this and this and this object. I just put everything that I was able to find on the internet that I was allowed to use, put it into the project so that our level designers can find a use for it maybe in the future. So we'll make sure to give proper credits to the people who made the resources for Luftahraan, and so yeah, that's the only resources that we've used. Otherwise, it's just our own stuff and the stuff that's already in Skyrim. And when it comes to have we made modders resources for other people, no, we have not. But currently we are. It's an interesting topic, actually, that you can actually talk about in depth. But let's not do that. I mean, that would add another hour to this video. But anyways, we're currently redoing the exterior of Luftahraan, and if you check one of our latest videos about it, the lower city of Luftahraan, courtesy of Double Felix, are brilliant. I was gonna come on to him, brilliant architectural modeler. That's one of the examples of how updated Luftahraan will be when we're done with it.
Was that a huge relief to you, getting someone with that ability in that position?
Yes, because the city was so laggy, right? We wanted to do really creative stuff. Like we had like these kind of ideas, and some of our level designers like went off and did some crazy buildings using improvised crazy buildings using various kinds of, planks and beams and roofs and stuff from other parts of Skyrim. And what that actually turns out, like in the end, technically you're gonna lag a lot, like 10 frames per second lag. It's crazy.
Wow.
So we had to find a solution to this, and we have, like, it's Luftahraan will run silky smooth, don't worry. And one of those things
Nice.
is making complete models instead of improvising houses from scratch, right? And having an architectural modeler at our hand, let alone a fucking talented genius such as Double Felix, is a godsend. And to everybody else on my team, like they're amazing, seriously.
So, well, what point do you reckon Luftahraan is now? Do you reckon it's 75%, 60%, 50% complete?
Yeah.
Because I know you had the original, this year, I believe, near the start, you announced that you wanted to release it in 2015.
Yeah. I mean,
are you near that benchmark, or
like,
are you...
At the point, I can see why I said 2015, because at that time, that was fairly reasonable, at least a beta in 2015. But the thing is, the thing is about Luftahraan is that we as a team and as designers have grown so much. We learn so much when we look back at what we've made before. We kind of want to update it and make it better. And that lower city that I was talking about, that video, that's an example. You can see how much better it was, right? Like, and the original version, like the unupdated version, is an actual updated version of the original one from the Face Punch days that I was just talking about. And that one looked even worse, right? So we're becoming better and better and better and better. So we keep redoing everything.
Yeah.
And we've basically...
So it's more of a case... Yeah, so it's more... The more you learn, the more you put it into it, so the longer it's obviously...
Because if we release this, right, it's going to represent what we are capable of, right? So we want to make sure that we can point to every nook and cranny of this mod and say, I'm proud of that. I made that. Like, I'm proud that I made that. And not go like, I made that like 2 years ago. Don't look at that. Look at this instead. So that's one of the reasons why it's taking so long. And we have reached a new stage of development that I'm very sure of is the final one. That is going to be the version of Luftahraan that we're actually going to release. That I wasn't fully aware of when I made the statements of that we are going to release Luftahraan in 2015. So I don't know when it's going to be released. I've learned the lesson of just not discussing it and not discussing it, but rather just not saying any date at all, whether it be a fucking decade. Like, I just don't say anything about it. Just.
By the next Elder Scrolls, we'll possibly have Luftahraan.
Like, it'll just be DLC for the next Elder Scrolls game. It is the next Elder Scrolls game. Spoiler.
To be fair, by the time they've created that, you may have actually been able to do that.
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
But yeah, so that's me basically excusing the time we are taking to make this, and that's the reason why we won't be able to make it 2015. I believe I said that I would eat my own sock.
Yeah, I think that's actually what you did say. Yeah.
And
so if you don't stream that by the end of 2015, people are going to be very disappointed.
I've made plans on how I'm going to eat my own sock. I'm going to dice it up and make an omelet, and I'm going to eat the omelet with like diced socks in them. I've made plans. I've made preparations. I will eat my own sock.
So
because we will.
Are you going for like the full wool socks or cotton socks? Like, how thin are these socks, or how thick are they?
Fuck, I have like really thick woolen ones. Should I be a man and go for that, or should I kind of cut corners?
I think that's probably a question you're gonna have to ask the community and see what their feedback is. Because one of the things that you don't want to get those stupid like slipper sock things with the little sticky pads on the bottom.
Yeah, those are tiny.
Because that's gonna cause some problems when you try and digest.
Definitely.
And when you're trying to chew. So yeah. It's interesting that you put in an omelette though.
What?
I'm not sure. I think because omelets are nice. Omelets are one of my nicest foods, and if I put a sock in there then ate it, I don't think I'd want to eat omelet ever again.
Scarred for life. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about this. Very intently.
Yeah, you kind of shot yourself in the own foot by saying it, but you know,
Hey,
if you do it, the amount of more interest that you'll gain for Luftahraan will be astronomical. There'll be this video all across the internet of Wheeze eating his own socks.
I mean, it's just all one big publicity stunt.
Yeah, make sure they're clean
Yeah.
as well, because obviously you don't want to have like your sweaty gym socks or the ones you've just been running in or
Yeah.
wearing for 3 days straight or something. Yeah,
Uh,
it could be actually if you decide to do say a 12-hour stream, you could then eat the socks that you've been wearing throughout that
yeah,
stream.
it's just added
That'd
seasoning,
be quite an
right?
interesting concept.
It's
Yeah,
just extra
yeah.
flavor. My sweat's delicious.
Then you could probably sell those socks
Oh my god. Yeah.
on your donations.
I'll
Well,
be
yeah.
rich.
Get a bit of money for the project through selling these socks. Yeah. There's countless possibilities for this one little small concept. I
Oh
mean,
my god.
you could do millions of things. And with Christmas coming up as well, people need warm socks. So if you go for the warm socks, you'll sell millions of those.
Oh my god. We're gonna have to continue this conversation later.
Yeah, we'll brainstorm this
Capitalize
off
on
air.
this shit.
Don't worry.
This is great.
Yeah. We'll put some pie charts
Yeah.
together and stuff.
Uh,
So I've got a couple of more
yeah,
questions.
go for it.
One of the main ones that I wanted to ask you, which you've kind of answered and I've kind of seen in the passion that you've been speaking about
Okay.
Luftahraan. But what is Luftahraan for you? What is that, the summation?
That is a fucking brilliant question. Sorry if I'm swearing.
That's fine.
Luftahraan is. I'm sorry if I'll sound cheesy and like if I'll sound pathetic, but Luftahraan is basically a chapter in my life. My life is about Luftahraan right now. This is the single. I've never been as proud of anything that I've made before in my life, such as Luftahraan. Luftahraan is such a significant part of my life because it's something that, well, I didn't make myself, but I was a big part of making this, and it's something that I can point to and say that I'm proud of, and it's also such an integral part of my life that I come home, work on this every single day. It has allowed me to meet so many new people, so many friends, and even my girlfriend. Like, I met my girlfriend that we've been together for 3 years now through Skyrim modding. She talked to me on my stream, and
Wow.
my code project lead. I've been working with him for like 3 years now, and I met him in real life. We went out and had we went to TwitchCon together, and we had like some sushi and we hang out like in San Francisco. So like these are people that I've actually met and like I've met my girlfriend and my life is about Luftahraan right now. Like that's how much it means to me, which is the reason why I can
Wow.
tell you. I mean, a lot of people are like telling us like, "Oh, this will never get finished," and I understand your frustrations, but I think I can say for sure I will finish this because it's so important to me.
Yeah. Wow. So you've literally fallen in love with the project, basically.
Yeah.
It is your life, your passion.
Definitely. Yeah,
And that's fantastic to have something like that
Yeah.
as well. That's good.
like, it's just my life is Luftahraan right now. It's
So you should probably write a very big thank you letter to Bethesda for one, making Skyrim, and two, releasing the creation kit.
yeah, but hey, I mean, I'd like to see the Skyrim sales when Luftahraan comes out, and they should thank me and hire me.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. They're fucking legendary level designers.
Yeah.
They're great.
So looking forward to the future then of Archon Entertainment after you've completed Luftahraan. What have you got? Any plans set aside? Anything you would like to move on to next?
Yeah. I mean, the team that we have are so like closely knit, and we know we're not going to like drift apart because I mean we just hang out with each other like every single day on Discord. So whatever comes up in the future, I know we will be able to make something because we're so talented in our individual fields. Like we have musicians, we have artists, we have level designers, we have writers, we have like it's really great. So like whatever we want to do, we will be able to like create something, whether it be like an independent video game in the future or a mod for Fallout 4 or the next Elder Scrolls. But for concrete plans for the future, we will probably. I'd like to continue doing smaller releases for Skyrim. I would like to do smaller releases for Fallout 4 as well. I'm not sure if we will be able to really sink our teeth into Fallout 4, depending on like, it just depends on so many things. It's so far far into the future. But we had plans for like another project for Skyrim that we had like, we even started to flesh out some ideas, and we were super excited about that. But I mean, it's kind of,
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of, it's going to take some time. I think we'd rather wait for the next Elder Scrolls game. So
Build as much as you can for it first, and then delve into the next one.
So
with the updated graphics, updated engine, and everything, it'd probably be a well.
Yeah. So I guess it depends on, I guess it just depends on what happens between now and when the next Elder Scrolls game is going to do. In that time, in the time between now and the next Elder Scrolls game, we will be finishing Luftahraan and making smaller releases for Fallout 4 and Skyrim. So yeah, it just depends on what happens in between that, in between those moments, because we would like to do something big for the next Elder Scrolls game. So at least I would like to, and I know a lot of my team would like to do that. So, I mean, it's probably pretty unanimous what we'd like to do with the next Elder Scrolls game.
Is there anything you would like to go into Witcher 3 for?
I was super excited.
Anything you'd like to touch
I
up
was
in there?
so excited for Witcher 3. I was so excited for the game, and I am. I just finished the expansion pack the other day.
You finished it?
I loved it.
Sorry for interrupting you while you were playing that, by the way.
Fine.
It's
fine. Yeah, I remember.
I was a bit jealous. I was sitting at work and I saw that you were on it, and I was just like, "Oh my god, I really want to go home and play that." But I decided just to annoy you.
Yeah, I was fighting this boss fight, and I was like, "Not now." Anyways, so yeah, I was so excited for Witcher 3 because I knew they had a pretty extensive modding tool set for Witcher 2. And when I played Witcher 3, I started like writing down all these ideas that I had into this document. So I was going to be prepared to make mods for Witcher 3, but when the modding tools came out, they seemed to be not very powerful. There's no actual editor, and that's basically that's just what, told me it's not worth it, because I don't want to make
something half hash, and you want the proper tools to be able to create something that's good rather than just, here it is, this is all I could do.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you download the tool set, right, and whatever you make is limited by what you're given, like whatever tools you're given, that's kind of why I could just go to Skyrim and do much greater things. If they gave me the like a huge arsenal of tools, and the only limit to what I can do is my skill and my capabilities and my time and my imagination, then that's what would excite me, right? But it's not. That's not the limiting factor here. It's the tools that they gave me. That's the limiting factor, and that's what killed my dream for Witcher 3 mods. It's still a great game, obviously. It's one of the best games I've ever played, actually. But in terms of modding, it's good, but it doesn't excite me.
No. Well, they've made some improvements apparently recently, allowing the replacement of textures now. So you can add new textures to the game.
Like I said,
And I've been talking with a couple of modders for Witcher 3, and they said they're looking at the ability to add DLCs, their own DLC type things to the game. They seem to have some success at that at the moment. I don't know the full details. Right. It's just what a couple of them have said in some of the forums that I'm a member of.
That's great.
That's something that possibly might.
That's fantastic, and I commend the mod authors making those mods. That's absolutely fantastic. But I just don't want to be limited.
The tools
like
are
that.
Still not,
because I'm a content creator at heart. Like I make content, so I need everything. I don't actually mod. I make plugins rather.
Yeah, I understand what you mean by the difference. You're not making something that's limited by what the developers seemingly want you to make for the game. They don't want to allow you to make a full expansion. They don't really want you to outdo their work, is basically what it seems like they want to do.
Yeah.
With giving you such limited tools. Which is a shame, because you would have thought at this point they would have seen what the modders have done with things like Skyrim and with Oblivion and with Morrowind.
Yeah.
And taken
Fallout
that on
2.
board and given people, Fallout 2, and the people the tools to be able to do that sort of thing in The Witcher 3, because it's a fantastic platform for
exactly.
an open world game like that.
Like,
But I think if you look at Fallout 4 as well, though, it looks like Bethesda have taken on board quite a lot of the work that the modders did for things like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and already implemented those into the game.
Yeah.
And for me, that's kind of like a tip of the hat to the modders for those two games.
Yeah.
And also a more of, right, we've done this now for ourselves. What will you do next? And they're like a challenge to improve upon what they did for Fallout New Vegas.
I get that.
And I think that's a fantastic thing for Bethesda to do. Just to challenge the community and stand on their own 2 feet and go, we made the game, what can you do better?
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think I'm excited for Fallout 4 modding. I think in terms of downloads, in terms of users, in terms of people actually being introduced to mods and stuff, Fallout 4 is going to absolutely dwarf Skyrim. Like, I think
I think as well with the fact that there's PS4 mods,
that's what
Xbox One mods, and it's just gonna absolutely skyrocket. I mean, I'm very tempted to buy the game. I probably will buy the game on 2 platforms.
Oh, really?
The Xbox One and PC to see. I want to see how the mods develop on the Xbox, what they do with the console. I assume it's going to be something very similar to how Steam Workshop works, where you'll subscribe to a mod and it will constantly update. But I'm very interested to see how that works in terms of, because on the PC you can go into all your file structure, etc., change things here and there in INI files and things, and you won't have that on the console. I don't think.
No, that's.
I don't know how they would implement that sort of control, so it's interesting to see how they would actually implement a mod to that extent.
It'll
be interesting.
It'll be rather simplistic for consoles. It'll be revolutionary for consoles, obviously, but in terms of PC, it's going to be simplistic. But I get what you would buy actually the game for Xbox One. It makes sense for you because you're doing mod reviews on YouTube, right? So you would want to be able to represent, like, yes, this mod works very well on Xbox One as well. That makes sense. Definitely.
So I'm assuming you're getting Fallout 4. We're not just having this conversation on a whim, are we?
I'm playing it day one. I'm gonna try and find time where it's not gonna interfere with Luftahraan and try and work on mods for Fallout 4. I'm super excited for it.
Have you gone and taken days off work?
For Fallout 4?
For exclusive playing, yeah.
I'm kind of contemplating it, but it's a family business. My family is running the bakery that I work for, so it's gonna be a bit. Yeah, I have to.
But like, excuse me, but I'm not well.
And I have to be rather transparent. Can't hide things.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they know what you do, don't they? They know you've got Twitch. They know you're making the phone, so sure they'd understand that there's something bigger at work here that you need to go and do.
I could just make some bullshit excuse like that. They don't understand.
I've taken 2 days, so I'm
awesome.
Going to be doing a lot in it, hopefully. I bet though I don't really do that much in it. I bet I'll just walk around. That's usually what I do. Like in Skyrim, I didn't do the main quest. I just walked from Riverwood all the way up to Dawnstar, which is my favourite city now in Skyrim, because I think it was the first big-ish one that I saw out of all the smaller ones. So Dawnstar is like my home.
That's what Bethesda are so brilliant at. It's just constructing this world that you immerse yourself in, and it's like a world that's so beautiful that it almost makes you shed a tear. Like, it's just because it's an accumulation of so many talents, like Jeremy Soule's soundtrack and everything, and the awesome art direction at Bethesda, and the level design and the landscaping. Is just like all this combined together in such brilliantly directed manner. It's just creates this amazing world, and I think Fallout 4 will be no exception. Especially how colorful it looks. It looks really beautiful. Like,
it looks really nice. Yeah, I was surprised because obviously Fallout 3 is known to be drab and very green in most cases if you don't do any color mods or lighting mods with it. But so I was surprised that it was quite bright and colorful.
Yeah, me too. But it makes a lot of sense. It's a good decision.
Yeah,
like, I don't think anybody disagrees with it.
One of the main things I actually like about because with Fallout 4, I've only watched the E3
Right.
trailer. I stopped. I literally just stopped. That was it. I watched a couple of reviews and impressions of it, but then I stopped.
Right, you just want to...
And I haven't seen anything. Yeah, I want to experience it for myself. No spoilers. I do the same with films as well. Apart from Star Wars, I kind of watched the last Star Wars trailer, but I've watched it 3 times now as well.
I mean, they're great trailers, though.
But yeah, that's true. They do get you psyched for the film. And they're good trailers because they don't show you too much.
Yeah.
Whereas you find with
Those
quite a few films, they show you everything, and you're like, oh, what's the point of seeing it? I've seen it already.
Those trailers are very well done. Like, they're perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Someone like, what's going to happen next?
Show
me.
Yeah.
Show me.
Just go see the film.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be.
You can't... I'm struggling to book tickets at the moment. It crashed on me about 3 times today.
Oh, wow.
I have to try later. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it would have calmed down by now, but apparently it's still struggling.
I live on an island, like, on the southwest coast of Iceland, so, like, we don't really have a proper cinema here. I might have to make a trip if I want to see that movie.
Do you have to travel by ship or boat to somewhere? Do you then, like a little ferry somewhere?
It's a 30-minute ferry ride and then a 2-hour drive to the capital.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is the capital of?
It's Reykjavik, or Reykjavik if you're foreign. Reykjavik. Yeah. It's not really a city. It's like a settlement.
Cool. That's actually probably gives you quite a bit of inspiration for Skyrim, though. I reckon. Like that sort of. Is it icy around there, or is it snowy?
We have glaciers, and during winter cool. It can be really, really snowy. I opened my door once, and the snow was literally almost as high as my door, so I had to like dig myself out of my own home. That was an extreme example.
That's cool.
So yeah, there's definitely Skyrim inspired stuff here in Iceland.
Because I've been to Norway. I don't know how close that is to.
Well, Norway is basic. Yeah, Norway is a lot more beautiful, I'd say. Iceland is more alien looking, and that can be its own charm. But Norway is a much more, trees everywhere and fjords and stuff. It's I think it's more beautiful.
Okay. So yeah, I want to play. Well, I'm going to call it a game, but it's not really a game. It's one that like a last little segment to this video. It's something new that I'm going to be doing for other chats and interviews as well. And basically, I'm going to go through a couple of game titles, and I want you just to sum them up in about 3 to 4 words.
Okay.
So, for example, if I said Payday 2, I would say clunky, clumsy fun. Because that's basically.
But what if I
my
haven't played the
experience
game
of Payday
before?
2 is at the moment. You can say pass, or what you think it would be like, why you haven't played. Right, so
I'm nervous about that, but let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay, let me just get my list up. Okay, so we're going to start off with an easy one. Skyrim.
How do I even? I mean, there's too many emotions. there's too many.
Just try it. Just empty your head of all thoughts. Just think really clear. Just think of crystal clear water. And then Skyrim.
I think of Jeremy Soule pine trees. It's just the first thing that comes to mind.
That is actually not a bad analogy of that game.
Jeremy Soule pine trees. It's just like
that's kind of the first thing you see of the outdoor world when you come out of the cave, and that's you see a dragon go across, and then you've got pine trees.
Jeremy Soule.
Then some music's
There you go.
That's a perfect analogy of that game. Well done. Yeah, that's a good start.
It's a good tip though. Like just clear your mind. Just first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah. Okay, you ready? Fallout 3.
Green.
One word. Nice. Succinct. To the point.
I think.
You really couldn't get past the green, did you?
As the first thing came to mind. Green. Liam Neeson.
Nice.
I can't think of the fourth word. Green Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson is not green.
Neeson, nice.
But the game is green.
But in your dreams he is. That's important to remember. Next one. I'll keep the next one very easy as well. Fallout New Vegas. And I promise we will move away from Bethesda games in a minute.
No, it's okay. Bethesda games are fun. Jingle Jangle Big Iron.
Good. That's different.
What is?
Very different to your other analogies of the other two games.
My two favorite songs from the game.
Yeah. That's one of the things about Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 3. They did music very well. Considering they didn't have like their own composer, etc. for like the actual songs, they picked things from that already existed.
Very well picked.
They picked the right tracks for the right moments. It was very well done.
Yeah, definitely.
Next one. I don't know if you've played some of these now, so that's why I started off with those three.
Okay, I hopefully have enough of them because I might pass on a few of them. There's some major releases that I may have not played.
Deus Ex: Human Revolution. Damn. Right.
Yes, yellow.
Call of Duty, any of them.
Call of Duty?
Call of Duty, any of them.
Rage. Twitchy. Fuck, I can't think of more than just twitchy rage. That's basically what Call of Duty is. You just twitch around with your mouse and you just rage at things. Twitchy rage.
That's pretty accurate. That is very accurate. I was playing Payday 2 with someone that clearly plays Call of Duty, and we're doing a nice stealth mission. Everything was going well. We're just sneaking around, and then he just runs in, guns blazing, kills everybody. And it's like, oh,
I very rarely played Payday, but I know that you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Right. This one you have played. Witcher 3.
Sex. Poland. Geralt.
It's like two of your favorite. Okay, two of your favorite pastimes: sex and Poland, and Geralt.
Sex, Poland, Geralt. That's basically what Witcher 3 is.
Fair enough. Did you just look at Geralt while it's going on, or do you look at the other people in shot, or is he your main focus of those scenes?
I try and look at the woman, and
I try.
And then I just start thinking about how awkward the animations are and how awkward the kissing sounds are, and I kind of just skip it.
Well, that's surely the beauty of it, isn't it? The awkward animations.
Yeah, like hands and lips clipping into each other's models, and it's great. It's fantastic.
And that is all the games that I had written down, apart from Total War Rome 2.
Never played that game.
Never played it. That's one I thought you hadn't played.
Well, how did I? Is that it? Okay,
yeah, that's
how did I do?
I don't really have a scoring system.
It would be pretty difficult to make that.
But I think the Skyrim one was probably my favourite analogy out of all.
Yeah.
Because I think as soon as you said that, it was visualised in my mind.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was right there in the game, so I think that was probably the best one.
I agree.
And I think that's going to be your new slogan now, from now on.
Jeremy's little pine trees?
Yeah.
It's my favourite part, just walking around Riverwood and stuff.
I think I would like an emoji on your Twitch for that, if you wouldn't mind. Well, it's been fantastic having you on.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And I've really enjoyed it. I think we've actually gone over what I did for Dark Fox as well, so he'll be
I told him that I would be I would beat him. I told him that I would beat him. Way more chatty than Dark Fox.
And yeah, if you've got any more people that you think would really benefit from coming on and having a chat, or anyone that you think would be interested, then obviously pass them on.
Unfortunately, I just don't know many. I would personally love to have, like, if you can actually get contact with someone from Sure AI. But okay. I don't know, like, that's difficult because they're kind of closed off from the community. But that's pretty much the only recommendation that I can really give is just that's something that I would love to see. You know, try and pick their minds a little bit, see how it works on their end, because I think they are the best modders in Skyrim.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Nice. Oh, and I did have one last question. Actually. Okay. I did have one last question. I've just seen it on the bottom of my thing. It's like clipped underneath the stupid taskbar. What is your favorite mod? Like, not of your own mods, something that when you go into Skyrim and you're starting a new playthrough, one of the first mods that you go through that you know that you have to have on in your game, and it can't be SKSE.
Yeah, that's too easy. And of course, it's not supposed to be Sky UI. My favorite mod
No, no.
is particle effects fix for ENB.
That was the... Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. I understand why,
It just
but that was not what I was expecting.
it's just the one mod that I download, and when I play the game, I'm just like, oh, that fire looks awesome, thanks to this mod. Like, it just it affects the entire world, and it just makes everything more vibrant and nice looking.
I suppose it puts more credit to the lighting work that you do as well, doesn't it? If you open up the
Yeah.
game and you see it.
Yeah, look at the at the fire and like how vibrant it is and how warm it feels.
I think the word is pretty.
Yes, that's
pretty it
that's another word. Pretty.
Well, it's been fantastic having
Yeah,
you on.
likewise. It's, yeah.
Good luck with
Thank
Luftahraan.
you.
I hope you get your goals and you finally do release it at some point in the future.
Definitely will.
I know you will, but obviously I've got to wish you luck for it, because without my luck, you might not do
Oh,
it.
yeah, definitely.
And I look forward to any of the things you drop from the game as well. A couple more dungeons or something. Anything you drop from the game into Nexus, that would be appreciated, I think, by the community. Just to not only see how it's developing, but just to know that you've improved so much from the first things that you released up till now, and just see the scope and the concept of the game, the mod. It'll be good to see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you think. If you ever told me, if you ever play through my stuff, please let me know what you think, because I.
Oh yeah, I will be playing through. I'm actually intending to start a mod Twitch Fridays, where I'll be going through quite a few of the recent DLC type mods.
Yeah.
And I was starting probably with Hainfigure. Hainfigure.
Yeah.
Hainfigure. There we go. I got that.
Make sure to let me know about that, because I want to host you when you do that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That'll be good. And yeah, thanks for coming on. And I'm going to repeat myself again, but I wish you all the luck for the future with Archon Entertainment and to the rest of the team.
Yeah, awesome being here. Thank you.
And yeah, that was the other thing. I would like to have you back at some point, obviously in the future, especially when Lufthraan's released, and have you back on, and maybe with some other people as well.
I would love to do that.
From the team.
I've always wanted to do shit like this.
Yeah, and I would like to get you and Dark Fox together as well, but I know that you'll both talk and talk and talk, so I don't want to really have to render a 3-hour
I'll
video.
limit myself and keep them on a leash. Get it? Fox.
I don't think you're supposed to keep foxes on a leash.
Okay.
I don't think.
No, that's probably a bad idea.
The animal activists. Yeah, I think you might have quite a few people knocking on your door saying you can't do this. Have you seen much of his Corinthian Tower?
Yeah, I watch his streams. It looks really impressive.
Yeah.
Just, like it's the most feature-rich thing that I've ever seen. Like the amount of features packed into one small location. I think, like, how have you not crashed the engine by this point? Like, what have you? What wizardry is this?
What magic are you? What magic are you using?
Magic, yeah.
Because I want some of that, please. I think the best bit for me in that is that he doesn't linger on enough for me. Is when he actually summons the tower.
Yeah.
And it rises. That is one of the best bits in that mod.
I know it's...
when he goes in, he just goes, "Oh, it's rising now," and you're like, "Just look a little bit longer."
That's exact. I know that feeling
see it.
because I know he worked on it so much. An effect that is reminiscent to that is at the end of Temple of Kruzik, there's a transition in the boss fight. I worked on it so hard, and my chat was always saying, like, "Can you please let us see the transition? Can you please let us see the transition?" And when I actually did, they always Craigasmed, which is like an orgasm face that everybody on Twitch uses. Because I just worked on it so often, I had to test it so often that I saw it a million times, and Dark Fox probably feels exactly the same way with that Rising Tower.
I love those bits in Skyrim when things like that happen though as well. You know that one, I think it's when you go and get the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller,
Right.
and you're going down that little walkway, it's surrounded by water.
Oh yeah,
and those bits just come up from the
statues,
water, and the music comes on. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
that's the kind of
And I just wish they did more of that throughout the entirety.
that's
of
the
the
kind
game.
of stuff that inspires me. Just like things that makes the gold player just stop in his tracks and go, "Wow." Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. Right, it's been good having you on, and I hope to see you again.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Likewise. Thanks.
So So I hope you've enjoyed that chat with Wheeze. If you have, please do drop the video a like. And for more information on Luftahraan and Wheeze himself, you'll find links down in the description below. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.